Week 3 was one of the craziest weeks in the NFL in a very long time. But now the bye weeks are here and Week 4 is right around the corner. Let's talk about some waiver wire claims here for Week 4. What is going on, Headliners Nation? Hey, before I get into the show, I have a pretty cool offer for you guys. Our friends at FanPix are hooking up all you Fantasy Headliner fans with some freebies. If you sign up now for a free FanPix account, you'll get a $25 voucher for select DFS contests. It's quick, easy, all free, and no deposit is needed. Just go to rotoballer.com/FanPix and use the promo code BALLER25 to sign up. Every Sunday, we'll be hosting our DFS free roll contest called the Magic Million. You'll compete against other viewers and against me also. It's free to enter, with cash prizes and no strings attached. You can check out the entire FanPix portfolio of DFS contests, including easy pick games, in-game contests, and so much more. Remember, just head to rotoballer.com/FanPix to claim your free $25 voucher and try to beat me in the Magic Million DFS free roll this week. Lineups lock at 1 p.m. Eastern. Good luck. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Next episode of the Fantasy Headliners, Week 4 Waiver Wire Edition, and hopefully you have recovered from the crazy week that was Week 3 of the NFL season. Whatever happened to the Vikings, I guess they just didn't feel like playing, I guess. Lots of disappointments, lots of things that were very unexpected this week. A lot of things that caught a lot of people off guard, myself included. But now Week 4 is here. We got to get some guys here off the waiver wire, bolster our lineups a little bit. We got bye weeks starting here in Week 4. Only two teams, the Redskins and the Panthers. But still, if you had somebody that plays on one of these teams, we need to get these spots filled to make sure your starting lineup is good to go. Before we get into the list, make sure you guys are going over to the RotoBaller channel, checking it out. The live show last Sunday was a huge hit. Some of the biggest numbers we've seen all season long. Make sure you're checking it out. Go over there, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Lots of great content, and you don't want to miss those live shows on Sunday. But for now, let's talk some waiver wire here for Week 4. So we have a wide receiver to talk about. Let's talk about Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons, who decided to go out and have himself a ridiculously good ball game. I'm like 9 catches, 146 yards, and 3 touchdown kind of ball game. Now, we all knew Calvin Ridley had the talent. We all knew he had the potential to use that talent this year and really, perform for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, were we going out there and expecting a 3-touchdown game here in Week 3? No, we weren't. I mean, just in the past 2 weeks, Calvin Ridley has more touchdowns than Julio Jones had all of last season. That's ridiculous. And more than likely, he's available on your waiver wire. He's owned in 41% of leagues right now. So, in the majority of leagues, he's out there. And if you have a top waiver claim and you need wide receiver help, Calvin Ridley is definitely somebody to look at. He's a huge part of that offense. The defenses are always going to be keying in on Julio Jones, trying to take him away. And that's leaving Calvin Ridley with a ton of single coverage if you need wide receiver help. I don't care what your waiver wire priority is. You're going out and grabbing Calvin Ridley. He's definitely somebody who could help your ball club here in the coming weeks. And as of right now, is a solid flex play week to week and an amazing bye week fill-in if you need be. Love some Calvin Ridley. Go out and get yourself Calvin Ridley as quickly as possible. Uncle Buck is next, and I don't mean John Candy. I'm talking about Buck Allen of the Baltimore Ravens. Only thing this guy does is score touchdowns, because this week he had 6 carries for 7 yards. So that's horrible, but he had a touchdown running. And then he had 3 catches for 19 yards, which is nothing special, but had another touchdown. That's all the dude does is score touchdowns, but he's really consistent at it so far this year. And if you need help at the running back position, a bye week fill-in, a solid flex play from week to week, Buck Allen is involved in the Baltimore Ravens offense. Now, he's not ever going to be the guy that's going to go out and get huge volume out of the backfield unless something were to happen to Alex Collins. But Buck Allen is definitely somebody who should be on your radar. No need to go out and spend a top waiver claim on him or spend a lot of your fab budget. But if you're looking for solid bench depth with huge touchdown upside, Buck Allen's somebody you should probably go look at. Let's talk about the number 2 wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. And nope, still not John Ross. It's Tyler Boyd. And a lot of you people probably don't even know who Tyler Boyd is, but it's probably somebody you should start paying attention to. This past week, he had 6 catches for 132 yards and a touchdown. And he's been a pretty consistent option here to start the season. A.J. Green did leave the game early with a groin injury, and those slightly skewed Tyler Boyd's numbers because he got more volume this week. But we really don't know how this groin issue is going to affect A.J. Green going forward. And right now, Tyler Boyd is somebody who's a big part of that offense in Cincinnati. There's rumors that Joe Mixon could come back this week. Not confirming that yet, but if it does, it only opens things up more for the passing game. Really like Tyler Boyd. He's only owned in 24% of leagues right now and should definitely be on your radar if you're looking for some wide receiver help. Next guy up is going to be somebody who is, for you guys who are in deeper PPR leagues that are looking for some running back help. It's Hines of the Indianapolis Colts, still only owned in about 10% of leagues. And his numbers do not jump off the paper for you for last week, but it's somebody who's seeing constant production in the passing game in Indianapolis, and that run game is just horrible. You don't really know what you're going to get. Is Marlon Mack going to play or not? What is Jordan Wilkins going to do, if anything? Hines is somebody who's been somewhat consistent here to start the season. Didn't have a big game, like I said, in week 3. 5 carries for 18 yards, 5 catches for 25 yards. So if you're in a PPR league, he does have a lot more value. If you're in a deeper league looking for some bench depth, Hines is somebody who should be paid attention to. And like I said, he's only owned in 10% of leagues. If you need some help, go out there, pick him up, stash him. Just don't start him yet. And maybe you get yourself a PPR lottery ticket here in the coming weeks. Still need some wide receiver help? Let's talk about Mike Williams of the Los Angeles Chargers. This guy has basically won the number 2 spot for the Los Angeles Chargers. It's something we talked about in the preseason. If he could win that number 2 role behind Keenan Allen, he's somebody who could have some really good value. And it's starting to show. This past week, he had 4 catches for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns against one of the top defenses in football in the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams did lose both their starting corners throughout this game, but Williams was having a great game before that even happened. He's somebody who definitely needs to be owned. He's teetering right there around the 50% mark, so he's not available in all these leagues, but it's somebody that you need to pay attention to. And if you have a top waiver claim, I'm talking about if you have a top 1, 2, or 3 waiver claim, or you are in dire need of a wide receiver, Mike Williams needs to be on your roster. He needs to be somebody you pay attention to, and he needs to be somebody that you spend one of these high waiver claims on. He can put up big points on any given week, and anytime you can get a wide receiver in a Phillip Rivers-led offense who's going to favor the pass slightly. You want a part of that on your offense. Mike Williams definitely needs to be rostered if you have the opportunity. Time to talk about some smoke, and I don't mean the recreational kind. I'm talking about John Brown of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is somebody who's quickly turned into one of the most consistent pieces in that Baltimore offense. The Baltimore offense that looks way improved from last year. Joe Flacco isn't throwing the ball and has some weapons to throw it to. John Brown seems to be the most consistent of those weapons. Now, is he going to go out there and have a huge week? It's kind of touchdown dependent. But if you need some help and you're looking for a bye week replacement or a solid flex play, John Brown is somebody you need to target from the waiver wire. He's owned right around 50% of leagues. And I wouldn't go out and spend a high waiver claim or a huge amount of my fab budget. But if you need some help at wide receiver, John Brown is a great option. Do you remember playing as a kid and yelling Geronimo as you jumped off something? You probably do. Did you ever expect it to be an NFL name of a wide receiver that we're going to talk about? Probably not. Geronimo Allison is somebody who we actually need to discuss a little bit, though. Are we sleeping on him slightly? I know some people have been on the Geronimo Allison bandwagon for a long time. But should more of us be on that bandwagon is a real discussion. Right now, Geronimo Allison's only owned in 34% of the leagues, and he only had 2 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown, and it was a big play. Had he not got that big touchdown reception, we may not even be talking about Geronimo Allison. But is it somebody who we should be rostering? Possibly. The issue with Geronimo Allison is not the talent or the offense that he plays in. It's the consistency in which he gets production, which is very inconsistent. Now, Geronimo Allison is somebody who does probably need to be owned, especially in 12-team leagues and larger. But does he need to be started is the question, and I'm not ready to say yes to that yet. If you're looking for somebody with big upside, Geronimo Allison may be for you. Now, I'm not spending a whole lot of fab budget, and I'm just not spending anywhere near an early waiver wire claim. But if you need wide receiver help, Geronimo Allison, only owned in about 35% of leagues, does play in an Aaron Rodgers-led offense. Even though Aaron Rodgers is not really playing like Aaron Rodgers right now, he does have that upside from week to week. And if you need a bye week replacement, somebody to fill in, or somebody who's just underperforming, and you're looking for a home run, Geronimo Allison is possibly for you. Like I said, though, I'm not spending a big chunk of money or a high waiver claim on him just because of the inconsistencies alone. Let's end the show with a bang and talk about a couple Browns. Let's go double Brownie here to end the episode, and let's talk about Baker Mayfield and Antonio Callaway. Both these guys available in the majority of leagues. Callaway's only owned about 30% of leagues. Baker Mayfield less than 10%. Both of these guys are people we need to go out and pick up, though. Baker Mayfield came in and led a Cleveland Browns team which hadn't won a game in what feels like a decade. From 14 points down, led them to victory. It was fun. I don't care unless you're a Browns hater, if you hate the Browns, but if you like the NFL and you like watching football, you enjoyed watching what Baker Mayfield did for the Cleveland Browns. It was exciting. It was actually fun to watch the Cleveland Browns in what seems like like ever. It was like the most exciting time ever to watch the Browns play. And it's something that could continue. They have a lot of young talent in that offense. David Njoku, the mentioned Antonio Callaway, Jarvis Landry, Carlos Hyde looked great. And that's because of what Baker is capable of doing. He can throw the ball. One of the most accurate passers in college, and he showed it again this week. It's somebody that energizes that offense. The offensive line looked better. Everybody looked better after Baker Mayfield came in the game, and you could just tell. Carlos Hyde all of a sudden looked like a running back one, and that should continue. The defenses are going to now have to play the pass a lot more than they were doing with Tyrod Taylor, leading to more opportunities for Carlos Hyde. I look for this offense as a whole to be a lot more productive, and we may be able to start getting used to saying the Browns win on Sundays, and that's mostly because of Baker Mayfield. Maybe you lost your quarterback last week. Maybe they're on bye. Maybe you have Cam Newton. Maybe you had Alex Smith or even Jimmy Garoppolo, who may not play football for a while, which absolutely sucks. But anyway, maybe you need a streamable quarterback this week. Baker Mayfield plays the Oakland Raiders, and that's not a bad matchup. I'm loving Baker Mayfield this week. If you're looking for a streaming option, I'm going after Baker and maybe even holding him on the bench. You never know. He could come in, give this offense a shot in the arm, and he's got plenty of weapons to put up big numbers. Same thing goes for Antonio Callaway. Stat line wasn't great last week. 4 catches for 20 yards, did have 10 targets, and Tyrod missed him on 2 deep throws. Had he caught in those balls and Tyrod placed him in a good spot, we could be talking about Antonio Callaway having close to 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just barely missed him. I like his chances a lot more with Baker Mayfield going forward. Both of these guys need to be owned, and I would spend a fairly high, waiver claim on both of them. I'm not going top 3 probably, but if you're anywhere from the 4 to 12 mark, I'm going after one of these 2 guys, and I'm not thinking twice about it. Plus, they're actually fun to watch on Sundays, which makes fantasy football fun. At least you want to have somebody fun to cheer for, right? You don't want to pick somebody from your most hated team and have to cheer for them on Sundays. It's easy to root for these guys. Loving Baker Mayfield and Antonio Callaway. All right, so those were a few guys out there on the waiver wire that we really need to pay attention to here for week 4 and going forward. There's lots of guys we could have added to this list, trying to keep it somewhat short for you guys. If you guys have other guys out there that you're debating upon, put it down in the comment section. This community is now over 20,000 people. I may not be able to get to every single question and comment like I used to when we were a lot smaller, but we've built a great community of people who are here to help each other win and help each other out. Ask the comments down below. Look for questions that are being answered that you may have some insight to. I'm not on here saying I know it all and I'm an expert and you guys all need to listen to me and nobody else. I'm not that type of guy. I'm here to help everybody out, and I'm hoping you guys can help out with that also. Really appreciate the support, though. We're over 20,000, strong on this channel, and the community continues to grow. Looking forward to more. Now we're going to 25. Do I hear 25 out there? Really appreciate the support. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.